Back outside again, guys. It's a beautiful day out here in beautiful Costa Rica, and I decided to come outside just to sit and relax. So of course, I thought I'd just do some healing while I'm out here. You know, why not? That's what it's all about. As always, please excuse the background noises. You know, the landscapers are out, the construction workers are out, everybody's working. So if you hear the noises in the background, please excuse the noises, but we can get through it. It's no problem. As always, I want to start off with good memories. You know, I slept fantastic last night. I had some really great dreams last night. And even though I remembered a few things that was unpleasant, my great dreams really outweighed the unpleasant ones. It was really a good night last night, and I'm grateful for that. Even though I've been sleeping like a baby lately, you know, for a while, I didn't sleep well. For months, I didn't sleep well a few months ago, but I've been sleeping so good that I'm just grateful for that. But I don't know, I was having dreams about different people in my life, even though they may not have been my family, like biologically, or maybe they were, I don't know. But there were a few people that really had an impact on my life. There were a few people and a few things that I remember clearly that really brings a smile to my face. You know, I do remember, as I spoke on before, the person who I thought was my father, his mother, my grandmother, or who I thought my grandmother was, she was really good to me, and I'm happy about that because I only have good memories of her. I don't remember anything negative about her. I remember a few negative things about the woman who raised me, her mother, my so-called other grandmother, but the grandmother that I went to in Brooklyn, I just don't have any negative things to say about her. Now, I'm not saying that nobody in the world has anything negative to say about her. I just know that I don't have anything negative to say about her, so that's what's important for me while I heal. And just like my aunt and uncle, my Aunt Mary, my uncle's son, I remember them clearly. And they also were extremely good to me. They were very good to me. And I'm just happy to say that. I'm happy to remember that. I'm just happy that that was my experience. I remember they used to have a church in their living room. They had church in the house, and it was pretty cool. You know, it was pretty cool, comfortable, cool. Everybody came over. My Aunt Mary can cook like there's no tomorrow. So it was pretty cool. You know, I have no complaints when it comes to my Aunt Mary and my uncle's son. And they were just fantastic to me. I know when it comes to, you know, the grandmother in Brooklyn, she passed away. I was in the military. No one told me that she actually passed away. I didn't find out until years later, and I had to actually look her obituary up online to find out that she passed away. I hope that noise in the back is not too distracting. You know, again, they are doing remodeling and construction, so I hear it clearly. So I hope it's not too distracting. But I also had an Aunt Celeste. My Aunt Celeste, that's where I got my middle name, I think. You know, that's what was told to me. And she always treated me really well. And it's crazy because she and I were so close, and I think the person who raised me was jealous of that for whatever reason, I don't know. But she went into the hospital one day and never came out. She went in there with a headache. Now they say that she had an aneurysm, but I don't know. All I know is she went into the hospital one day and she just never came out. I even remember her, the woman that raised me, I even remember her having some friend. It was a man named Winston, if I can remember that correctly. He used to drive a black limousine. It's like I saw a vision of a black limousine before I even went to sleep. But then I actually saw his face. You know, I remember him buying us ice cream. I remember us being excited, riding in the limousine. I also remember him being everywhere. We used to move so many times. I remember him everywhere we moved. I would normally see him. She would go talk to him at night and go sit in the car. And I believe maybe he used to give her money, but I'm gonna have to say allegedly. Wow, for the first time I'm gonna have to say allegedly, because I know after she would go sit and talk with him, we would get groceries or something like that. Then we were able to get groceries and things like that. So I'm just assuming, at this point as an adult, that perhaps that meant she was getting a few dollars from him or something. I don't know. I just remember him. I remember Winston. I remember that black limo, because back in those days, it was a treat to get in a limo. So I remember him. He was very nice. He was very nice to me. I remember that. And it's crazy because although people used to call me within the family alcoholic, because I did used to drink a lot. I'm not going to sit here and act like I did not, because I did. And a lot of that drinking started in the military. A lot of it was due to trauma. And I did drink a lot, unfortunately. I'm happy to say I don't live that life anymore. I'm happy to say I just make a lot of better choices now. I know I've done different things that I made bad choices, but I'm happy to say I turned those bad choices into good choices. I turned everything around for myself, and I proved to the Most High that I can do it, because of course the Most High is the only one that I have to prove anything to. And so I proved that to the Most High and to myself, that I can make better choices, that I can live a better life, a little bit more honorably, and more healthy. And I'm very proud about that. I'm extremely proud about that, because I grew up in a family of alcoholics. It wasn't just me that was drinking, and I grew up around a family of alcoholics. I saw it my whole life. There's a lot of drug abuse, a lot of violence and like aggression. I remember the woman who raised me, her mother. I had an uncle and he got in trouble, and her mother, my grandmother at the time, she's no longer with us. She tied him to a pole on the porch, and she beat him like there was no tomorrow. She beat him, and all his friends was out in the yard. I remember all his friends being in the yard, hiding behind a tree, watching it. And I remember crying. Because he was tied to that tree and he was getting beat the way that he was. I remember that it was so sad. I felt like I could feel his hits. Back then I didn't know what being an empath was, but now don't get me wrong, he was no angel, because he used to terrorize his brother just because his brother was gay. And I don't agree with stuff like that at all. People have the right to live their lives the way they want to live their lives and love who they want to love. So I don't agree with that at all. And he used to terrorize his brother like you wouldn't believe. It was heart-wrenching how he used to terrorize him. I was there for that. But she tied him up to the pole and she beat him almost to death. And it reminded me actually of when I was young. Whenever I would get upset, like if we're out and about, whenever I would get upset, I would walk really slow. And I used to walk really slow so I can calm down. But the woman who raised me, she hated the fact that I would walk slow. And I know one day I was walking really slow. I was so pissed off and I was trying to calm down. And by the time I got to the house, when I got in the house and closed the door, she was right behind the door. And she beat me almost half to death because I was walking slow. She felt that was a big disrespect, and she bragged about that. She bragged about that all the way up until I was an adult. She bragged about how she beat me so bad that I never did that again. And she used to laugh at it, and I used to have to just grin and bear her laughing at the fact that all I did was walk slow. You could put me on punishment for that. All I did was walk slow. I didn't do anything disrespectful but walk slow. And I don't know. She beat me almost half to death. She's right. I never did that again. That beating was so severe. I never did that again. But she was proud of that. Again, I grew up around a lot of violence. I grew up to where that's how you're supposed to handle situations, with violence. Then people wonder why at one point in my life I had a short temper. At one point in my life, I felt like I was aggressive. I grew up around that. This is what I saw. This is what I was taught. This is what I was used to as far as seeing people, how they handle anything. It could be conflict. It could be misunderstanding. It could just be whatever. This is how it was handled. And that rubbed off on me. Just like the man that I thought was my father, he busted up in the house one day. The woman who raised me, she got married, and I think she's only married for a few months and then got annulled, but he was an alcoholic as well. He used to drink like crazy, and they used to get into a lot of fights. And one day she put a knife to his neck, and I don't know, it was just crazy. I remember him sitting there and she had the knife to his neck, and I don't know if that got back to my karmic father or something, because he was very overprotective of her. I don't really know what happened. The only thing that I know is that he busted up in the house one day. We were sitting in the living room, and the person that I was raised with, that I thought was a sibling, he busted up in the house and he just walked straight past us. He walked straight past us. He walked straight into her room. He grabbed the guy, her husband at the time. He dragged him out with his pajamas, and everything happened so fast. Everything happened so fast. I didn't even know how he knew where we lived at, because we weren't allowed to tell him where we lived at. He used to take us in the bathroom over at his mother's house, and one by one he used to take us in the bathroom and question us about where do we live, what's going on, and that was kind of our life. And then when we get back home, we had to tell her what was said, where we were at. I used to get in trouble for that. I used to get in trouble for that as well, because I never had time for that. I never had time to sit around and be a human recorder and record, what's said and what happens. That was always the older sibling. That was her job. She was the one who comes around, and she's like a human recorder, and then she reports back to the woman who raised me. And I used to get in trouble for that. I used to be told, how come I'm not paying attention, and am I playing games, because I don't remember anything. But I just didn't remember anything because I just wasn't paying attention. I really just wanted to play. I really just wanted to be goofy. I didn't want to sit around in the adult's face and try to remember everything that they're saying. But yeah, I remember that. I remember her having that knife to his throat. I remember my karmic father busting in the house and dragging him out and throwing him down a couple flights of stairs. And it's weird because she would always have an opinion on the men that I selected, but she had a few knuckleheads herself, even down to her most recent husband. He used to terrorize people. He was very immature. He used to do immature things like drop a stink bomb on a crowded train. He used to terrorize Jehovah's Witnesses. I remember that. He had this little machine that used to cuss, and when they would ring the bell through the intercom, he would put the machine on. They used to say F you. It used to really cuss out the Jehovah's Witnesses. Now don't get me wrong, sometimes we all know they used to come knocking at the door early Saturday mornings, but they were just doing what they do. But he used to terrorize them. He used to curse them out. He used to even call alcohol holy water. I don't know if he was a part of any kind of religious ideology or anything. I don't remember that. I don't remember him ever going to church. Not that I remember. But yeah, he used to call alcohol holy water. And he used to, like, how you make your hands do the cross signal? He used to do the cross signal in front of a glass of alcohol before he drank it. And he used to say some little words or whatever and say, yeah, this is my holy water. It was really weird. Maybe I should have paid attention to that back in the days, because even though maybe he was joking, that's something pretty strange to joke about. That's kind of odd to joke like that. That's a little, I don't know, that's just kind of odd to joke like that. But I remember that. And he was a cheater. He used to cheat all the time. But you have to remember, she's the older person. So I watched her selections of men. So that didn't really help with my selections of men. And that's not to say that it's not my fault who I selected, because it's my choice. So it's absolutely on me. I can't put that on her. I cannot put that on her. But I've always been judged by the men that I choose. I've always been judged. Oh, this person is a bum. This person is a loser. This person, all they do is make kids and don't take care of them. This person is alcoholic. I was always judged. But I don't know. I don't see how you can judge somebody if you're making some of the same bad choices. That guy was a cheater, and I'm speaking about the one who actually used to assault me. He was a big time cheater. And I even remember one day when he called me, of all people, telling me she was beating him up because, I don't know, some girl followed him down to Georgia or whatever and came into their store because they owned a few businesses, and came into their store, and I don't know, I guess things got hectic in their house, but we were groomed to have her back whether she's right or wrong. That was the golden rule. You have to have her back, you know, and she used to protect him. It's really weird. She used to protect him because I remember he used to speak so horribly about her grandchildren, not my kids, but her other grandchildren that used to come to our house every summer. He used to call one grandchild fat and sloppy. He used to call the other one lazy. He used to speak horribly about these kids, and it was a nightmare. She allowed it. I know I told their mother, hey, he talks horribly about your kids, but she kept letting them go down there for the summer. It couldn't have been me, you know, even though she didn't really want my kids around. I was all right with that. Even though they were not, I was kind of all right with it, because there's no way in the world you're going to talk crazy like that about my kids and I'm just going to keep letting them come back. Because when my kids went over there, you know, they did yard work, they did all kinds of things to help her out. But then again, they were always looked at and treated the same way I was, like they were an outsider, you know. She was nice to them when they were there, you know, I was right there, but my kids saw the difference because they spoke about it several times. They saw the difference. Wow, there's so many birds out here. It's crazy. It's like a whole flock of birds just flying above me. It's beautiful. Like really tiny birds. Do your research on that, guys. It is symbolic. But I don't know, guys. This time around, my dreams were more pleasant than anything because the focus more so was on good treatment from different people that I had forgotten. And I'm grateful for that, you know, a good balance. I know I had a really weird image in my head. The person that was the older sibling, she used to keep a picture of me and my ex-husband on a shelf. She used to keep a picture of me and my ex-husband on her shelf. You know, we went to a wedding one time. I think that was the only wedding that I went to, and that was as an adult. And she used to keep that picture even after we got divorced. She kept that picture of me and him on her shelf. It was odd. And I remember asking her to have that picture. She refused to give me the picture of me and my ex-husband. That's the craziest thing ever. But she refused. She probably have that picture to this very day on a shelf. I don't know what that's about, but it's pretty weird. Look, guys, I'm out of here. I just want to talk about these few things, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I hope you guys are out there healing. I hope you guys are out there remembering things that you've gone through, facing those things, healing from it, releasing those things. We can heal together, guys. Let's heal together. And we are unstoppable. We are unbreakable. When you walk with the Most High, there is nothing that can stop you. There is nothing that can break you. Trust and believe that. Trust and believe that. I'm sitting here right now by the pool with a smile on my face, about to go inside and fix some food. And I just hope you guys have a great day. I hope you guys have a great life. I love you guys, and I'm excited about us healing together. I am excited. I'm excited for all of us as a collective. I love you.